So this is about R Markdown. This is very similar to how we do it in Jupyter Notebook. So the prerequisites is that you need to have a RStudio Cloud or RStudio in your local system. So RStudio.cloud, you'll be just enter it. You'll see the RStudio Cloud. This is similar to what do you have in your local RStudio. So it is an authoring framework for data science. So Markdown is typically used to comment out the code or descriptions and the thought process of your coding. So what did you do in that coding block? So you before that you write a description about that. And the one more important thing is that it supports multiple output formats like PDF, Word files, and slides, or even the HTML as well. And then you can convert to slides too. So, what are the advantages of using our Markdown? It supports a dynamic reports. You can do a version control with it, and changes can be made directly to a code or a data. Once you open RStudio, first thing is to Markdown package installed. To install that, you can just click on a S button here. It will install all the packages required for that, or else you can go to tools and install packages. There you can type what package you want to install and then just install it. So this is my RStudio. As you can see, so to create a R Markdown file, so you need to click on the new button here. You see the plus and click on R Markdown. So once you click on this, you'll be able to see a R Markdown file. You have a new file here. So this is how it gets created. So you can save this. So you can choose where do you want to save your file and then save it. So how it saves as a .rmd file, title, author, or date, output, whatever the output you want. So a recommended format is HTML. So choose HTML right now. And you can see the output for other formats here. Like you can have a presentation format, you can have a Shiny app format, or you can choose from multiple templates as well. You can, the Markdown templates are found it under the GitHub repo here. So this is how you create your R Markdown file. So once created, you can add a content like this under the AML content. For the documentation, 1 pound, it's a first level header. This is the Markdown syntax. The hyphen for the sub points, double points for a second level header. So if you want to add any bold format of a text, you can say 2 asterisks here. It will print that in a bold format. And say if you want to have a paragraph, you can just type it empty here. This is the paragraph on an empty line. Here it is interactive. That means you can run your code. So you can see that the code snippets start with 3 backticks and end with the 3 backticks. And once you start with the 3 backticks, in the braces say R. I mean, I'm gonna whatever the code I write after this braces, it's going to be a R code. So you say R setup. I'm saying that these are the options for my knitting tool. So let me show you an example where we run R code. So I'm starting with the 3 backticks, and in the braces I'm saying this is my R code, and say paste hello world. So you can see that as soon as you do that, you'll have options to do options for a setting, or options to download, or options to run. So this is also called a code chunks. You can call it a code snippet as well. So let's write one code snippet. So it starts with the 3 backticks, remember, and ends with the 3 backticks. So I created my code snippet here. But if I write something here, it's not gonna recognize because it doesn't know which code I'm writing in here. So this is the main difference between the other Markdown files. So in the braces, say as soon as I put a braces, it converted that to a code block or a code chunk. But still, it's not giving me options to execute or any other options, right? So as soon as I write a R, you can see that it gave me options to run. So as soon as I run here, we can see that it runs that code snippet. If I'm writing this, like before that, I can say that, okay, this is my cast data set. So if anyone else is using this file, so they can know the whatever the code you written, they know that what this code does. It's just a description for that. And after that, you can see that this to include a histogram or any other charts you want, right? And after that, you can add a block level code. So to add a block level code, you have to start with a greater than symbol here, and say this is my block code, and then I'm saying this, that's my name, that's it. So and this is this, if you want to add a paragraph, just add that in an empty line. So this is just a paragraph. So and your file is stored in a .rmd format inside the directory where you specify, or by default it's a home directory. Since we can write any code inside the code snippets, so how do I load any other data sets inside, not just the default table? So to do that, you can write a normal R code saying that read CSV and then read my file from here, and you can run that code. You can see that it loaded and then gave me a head of that particular data set. Right, instead of R, you can write Python. So to do that, you need to install some other libraries. So you can have a look at it. And next, say you are doing something in your data set and you are writing some R code. And for the description, you need to write some math equations to show that this is what I'm doing in this code. To display that math equation, you can write this way. So this is another beautiful way of our markdown. So it says equal to pi into r square. And so how do you insert an image? This is pretty much same as how do we do this in a markdown. In a square bracket, say image, and then in the brackets, just give the path to the image you want. So you have written our markdown file, everything is done. Now I want to export this as HTML or a PDF, right? So how do you do that? You can knit this particular R markdown file. To knit the R markdown file, there's an option here. You can say that knit the current document. So click on this drop down option. You'll see multiple options to knit the R markdown file. So go ahead and knit to HTML. As soon as you knit to HTML, you'll see the file opened up in other view here on the right side. So this is how it looks like. So the code chunks looks like this in the code block, and you can see that the code block, after the code block, there are outputs as well. So you can see that you can include a MySQL, Ruby, and you can include your Scala and Python as well. So whatever under the square brackets that will come up here, and URL, when you click on this, it will just go to the URL you mentioned in the brackets. And say this is just opening on the right viewer side. So if I want to open this in the new window, this is the configuration. So to do that, you need to go to settings here, and you can see this the preview in window and preview in viewer pane, right? So you can just click on the preview in window. It will open up in the another window, and this is how it looks in the another different window. And you can even open this in the browser too. So to do that, just click on the open in browser. It will open up in the browser as well. So there are a very good source of R markdown syntax details available. This is the one of the R markdown reference guide. For a plain text is just a normal plain text, just an empty line. And you can say for italics, you can just say one asterisk and then whatever the text you want to like weave in the italic, you can write that there. Both are bold, and you can say that these are the number of headers, like this is the first header, second line header, like that. So this is the block code. How the block code looks. So we executed, right? See, this is how the block code looks. This is one block.